Hello everyone, this is Joanna. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I wanted to show you different ways that you can do masking on your card. And I'm using High Tide Stampin' Up set, and I already made this really nice easel card, and you can watch that in my previous video. But today I want to show you the different options that you have when it comes to masking. So let's start with my favorite option, which is using removable labels, and basically you stamp the image on the label, and then you can attach it to your image as you please. So here we have the lighthouse. I'm just going to place it right on top of the lighthouse. And by the way, these are the labels, and I've had them every removable ID labels. They're great. I've had them for years. It's like they last forever. And I have another one right here for the sand. So I'm going to place it right on top of the sand. And I do want to have a sun that is setting. I'm going to place it right here. And now it is time to do some sponging. You just grab a sheet of scrap paper, and I'm ready to sponge. I'm going to use what is it called? Faded jeans distress oxide. So you just place it pretty much halfway on your cardstock, and you can start sponging. You don't want to get it too dark because we are going to be stamping waves on it. So that's it for sponging at the bottom. Let's move to the top, and what I'm going to do on the top, this is crushed curry by Stampin' Up. Oops, you know what, maybe I should just mask the other half. So crushed curry, give it a nice solid coverage, nice. And Cajun Craze, nice sunset colors. I'm going to show you how neat it's going to look once we pull off our mask. And you can reuse these masks for a few times as long as they're still sticky. You can also cut out the images from your regular cardstock. You just have to make sure that you hold on to it. So now let's pull this off and see what we got. There's the sun. There's my sun. And the lighthouse. And there's the sand. Look at that. And now the sand is I could probably use a little bit of sponging because maybe it doesn't look as good because it's so bright with everything else going on. I'm just going to go and add a little bit of my yellow to the sand so it's not that bright. But there you go. Now let me show you another way to do it. And that one is also called Emboss Resist, which you may have heard. And that's applying Versamark. Let me just switch those around. Versamark. And embossing the image with clear embossing powder. So let me do that. I'm going to place my lighthouse right on top. Fun technique. I've used it so many times on so many things. Emboss Resist is awesome. So we're going to apply first to the lighthouse and make sure that the paper is in the very corner because we already placed the stamp in the correct position. And we are going to move into the sand stamp. And the sand stamp is pretty neat because it already has cut out space for the lighthouse. So let's do that. So we actually, instead of doing Emboss Resist on one stamp, we're doing it on few stamps. Pretty cool. Okay, now when you do look at the stamp, you know what, let me do a little one more. Just don't think I had a good impression of it. When you do look at the stamp, you do notice that there is this whole area right here, and on top that doesn't get any impression. I would have to use a different stamp to do it, and even then it would not cover this whole white area. So I'm using a Versamark pen, and you can just use the pen and cover the areas that your stamp has not covered. So that is going to attract the clear embossing powder, and that way my whole entire image is going to be covered beautifully with the clear embossing. So there's my clear embossing powder, and let's apply it and see what happens. Okay, now here you can see that I think I aimed the stamp a little bit wrong, because this whole area does not have embossing powder on. So I'm just touching it up with my Versamark pen, which is also convenient, and I'm going to add a little bit more embossing powder on it. Okay, that's good enough. So now the heat gun is going on. I'm going to heat it up nicely. And what's nice about this is that you're going to get a nice dimension too on the card with the embossing. Sorry for the buzzing. Just a minute. It goes so fast. Almost there. Okay, so we're good here. So now once again, we're going to do a few things. We're going to grab the sponge and start sponging. Once again, here's my So there's the sponging going on. And now, this time around, after I'm done sponging, I'm going to add some waves to it too. So you can see the different ways of doing that. Okay, and there goes the yellow. This time I'm not doing the sun, the actual sun. Just gonna do it without it. We're not seeing sun on this one. And a little bit of red. Love making sunsets. Love creating sunsets. Okay. And now at this point you really don't have to worry about anything, because you know that this is covered in embossing powder. I'm sorry. Yeah, and that it's been embossed, so nothing is going to stick to it really. So now I'm going to take my waves, or water, whatever you want to refer to it, and you can just go ahead and stamp it. And you can go all over the image. It really doesn't matter. Nothing is gonna stick to it. In the random order. Okay, so now what you need to do is you need to grab a piece of paper, and you just go and you wipe off the excess. You just wipe off the excess of ink. And and you have your beautiful image with the gorgeous background. So that's another way of doing that. Now the last way of doing that is a little bit different. Where is my image? Okay, what I did, and I cannot find the card that I already got ready. You would take rubber cement and you would use a brush and you would apply it. I cannot believe I cannot find the card that I pre-stamped, especially for that application. Oh well. And you would use the rubber cement, and it does come with a brush inside, but I don't like to use that brush. It's just too big. And you would, for example here, you would just go and you would cover the stamp with the rubber cement. So you basically are painting over it. You have to be careful, you have to stay within the lines. Like that. Okay, so this is all covered in rubber cement, which is Elmer's rubber cement. Okay, now you're gonna let it dry, and this is what you get. You have the image, and you do see the shine on the rubber cement. I also created a sun here. I don't know if you can see, there's a circle right here on top, and the way I did that, I just used the negative outline from my stamp, and I used from my punch, and I used the rubber cement on the brush, and I applied it and then removed it, and then you have this rubber cement that is still wet. So having said that, now this is also covered, so let's see how this this is going to work for us. Let's do the sponging on it. Oh my goodness, where is my scrapping? Oh well, I'm gonna cover it halfway, and again we're gonna start sponging. And the rubber cement does, it's kind of, the image does get a little bit dark or darker. I think that the embossing, when you do the embossing, it definitely does not attract the color right away that much, but you'll see what happens in just 1 second. And here I'm going to go ahead and do the top with yellow again. Crushed curry in action. Nice. And Cajun crease. I have a heavy hand today with the ink. Usually I'm pretty good about the sponging. I think I'm used to sponging with the distress oxides, and they kind of control your heavy hand. They are more forgiving. So, okay, so now what you can do is, the rubber cement is right here. You can see it is dry. You just start rubbing it, and the whole entire thing comes off, and your image is untouched by ink. Now fun, it's up to you. This is not my favorite way of doing it, but I wanted to show it to you guys as an option. Now, something that you have to pay attention to when you do work with it is, if you are going to paint the rubber cement and you are going to go outside of the line, yeah, kind of is gonna show. So you're actually gonna have to go back and fix things here and there, because otherwise you're just gonna have the lines showing. But for the most part, if you're meticulous, not like me, this is going to work just great for you. So here are the different ways. This is what we did. This is the first one with the masking, just regular paper masking. We have the embossing, which gives you this really nice shine and dimension. And this is the rubber cement. I hope you guys enjoyed it and give it a try, and watch my other video for the easel card that I created with the stamp set. Till next time, my friends. Ta-ta!